I love you so much. I brought them back for another round. I am sitting here with Iron Sharpens Iron, the housewives of gospel. The wise women are teaching the younger women on how to live a holy and godly life and have a holy and godly relationship in their marriage, in their engagements, and not just for the women, but sometimes, they have those books, what men ought to know, or what Steve Harvey said, think like a man, smell like a woman, eat like a man, work out like a woman, or whatever that was.
Yes, I know exactly what
we actually have the opportunity of bringing both perspectives here.
Yes.
With newlywed, newly married, long-time married, divorced, multi-time married. Not like 1 or 2 times, but like not a lot. So, but we have a wonderful, well-rounded perspective for you all. Family, I'm excited. Ladies, introduce yourselves to our listeners once more.
I'm Lisa. Dr. Unique.
Michelle. And Erma.
Hey,
Erma.
Yes. We spent the first half just getting to know a little bit about you and your backgrounds as well. Now it's time to dive deep into that wisdom.
Sounds wonderful.
For those that are out there, both males and females.
Yes.
I'm not going to separate or segregate.
Yes.
Red, yellow, black and white, all the precious in his sight.
Gotcha.
For me, it seems like the theme of marriage is not as reverenced today as it used to be. It's just something we do. And I have actually met more older people, like 65 and older. They've been together 30 years, but they are not married. They still have 2 separate last names and 2 pensions. I don't know if they do it for the SSI or they've been through some things and it's like, I love them, but I ain't finna do that again. I don't know what it is.
Right.
But as well as for the younger women or the middle-aged women that are still single and desire marriage. Give me, each one of you, give me what is needed in order to move into a position of marriage. I ain't talking about being married. I'm talking about being positioned for marriage.
I would say that during that single period in your life, that alone time is so important, because a lot of people, if you think about it, they don't enjoy their own company, what less the company of another.
Right.
So you got to enjoy your own company. For me, there were times, and even now, I go to the movies by myself. I go sit down and eat by myself and then just enjoy. It's me and the Lord, and so I think that you have to get to a point where you are comfortable in your own skin.
Yes. Absolutely.
And enjoy your own company.
Yes.
And so, and then it comes to a point, when God says it's not good that man should be all alone. And Dr. Miles Monroe, this is his thing. I didn't say that. He said it's not good that man should be all in one. And that's so powerful, all in one. God didn't create us to be all of everything just in one, to a certain point. He wants us to be together, one, in the spirit, one in just everything on oneness, and so the thing is, just being what God is destined and purpose for you to be, and then when that somebody comes along, you're added benefit to their life. That's just an added benefit.
That's right.
To what's already been produced.
Right. I know when I was married that I, again, as I said before, I learned the church way. And not that there's a church way and non-church way, but I just learned so much of deacon and minister and pastor and first aid. Like I didn't get the other side. That, first of all, I will have to say that my transition into salvation, it was after I was in an abusive relationship when I was much younger. And once that freedom came about, I didn't know how to be alone because I went from my parents' house, had a little bit of freedom, and then I went into a relationship that lasted. So there was no breathing room for me to find out who Guns was. So when I got out of the relationship, my identity was in being a companion. And I remember one day feeling horrible. I mean, the worst ever. And I was walking along a golf course in the middle of the night just bawling and crying. And the Holy Spirit silenced me with peace be still. And the Spirit of God spoke to me and said, if you will put all the love that you have for others into me, you will never be alone. You'll never feel lonely again.
Say that.
You'll never feel lonely again. I have been alone, but I've never felt lonely. I've seen people in a crowded room and feel isolated and invisible and feel lonely, but I've never felt lonely. So after my first marriage, because I did it again, but I did it the right time. This time I was married, and I made sure that I was the wife, and I invested and did everything and created my identity around being a woman of God, being a spouse, being, still a daughter to my parents, and big sit but no focus was on me. Sugar. When bruh man left, I have literally canceled off about 85% of my bucket list. I traveled the world over. I remember one day I went and got me, you remember En Vogue had that giving him something he could feel them red dresses? I was walking through the mall and saw give him something he could feel dress. I was like, that would be mine. I got a dress. I got my hair done, did a spa day, had a limo come pick me up, take me out to dinner, and literally went and listened to music and went back home. Me, myself, and I.
Well, that's all right.
And I did not hold back, but I had to realize that I can't tell you my love language if I don't know my own love language.
That's so true.
And I used to always say, when guys would welcome you, how you doing? I was like, first of all, if you can't outdo me doing me, don't do me.
That's all right.
Like, if you can't love me the way I love myself, I'm not even gonna make you work. Like, it's not high maintenance, it's just how I maintain.
Right.
That's
good. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I love that. I really do love that.
That's probably why I'm still single. Too much going on.
I would like to say that,
Is your mic
first of all,
Okay, good job.
first of all, I was married 14 years. I'm divorced now. But what I've learned was when God has totally healed you, first of all, you got to heal.
That's correct.
Yeah.
You got to heal.
Exactly.
I stayed in the relationship 7 years just to heal. So when I left as a whole person. All my pieces were with me.
That's good.
Yes. Wonderful.
So now that, I believe God is going to bless me again,
Yes.
now I have to look for a whole person. Because I married a half of a person in the beginning. They weren't whole. They had pieces of themselves still in their childhood. They went through, abuse, both mentally and physically. So that person was still a child trapped in a grown man's body.
Yes, that's so true.
And the other thing is, the Bible says the aged women teach the younger women. That is so true till today.
It is.
Now I grew up I'm from South Carolina. So what the mothers taught us back then was how they went through their marriage. What they didn't mention was when you start living with this person, you're dealing with the flesh. They taught us the spirit. But they didn't taught us how to deal with the person in the flesh. The flesh, because that person is a different person once they get home. And so you got to relearn them all over again, even after the vows. So that's the other thing. And intimacy.
Yeah.
Intimacy is not physical.
No, it's not.
You got to be in love with the spirit of that person and know how to be intimate with them before marriage,
Correct.
Before the physical part of it even takes place.
Yes.
So that's the other thing. I'm learning how to be more intimate, with somebody, that God has for me. And even when that person comes and says, you don't just jump right into it right then. You got to find out whether they're a whole person, both spiritually and naturally.
That's
because
right.
it has to be a balance.
That's amazing.
But what did you think that, as we talk about, because I hear it often, being a whole person. However, for me, and this is just for me, I'm always evolving. Who I am this year will not be who I am next year. Who I was at the Pentagon is not who I am today. Like, I've taken those pieces, so although I may have been confident and whole in that, when I moved into entrepreneurship, there were missing pieces because I didn't know how to be an entrepreneur and still have that confidence. The confidence that I had doing the job that I did for 16 years did not look the same. So when we talk about having a whole person, the Bible also says, let the weak bear the infirmities, or let the strong bear the infirmities of the weak. I am bonding with someone that I understand his weaknesses and he understands mine, but where he's weak, I'm strong, and vice versa. Does that mean that we're not whole? And just asking for those that struggle with that, being a whole person. I went through abuse. However, it is a part of my history. It's not a part of how I conduct myself now.
Right.
There was a crutch in the past that came from mistrust and, being abused and, being standoffish.
Yes.
So there was pieces of me. However, as I moved deeper into a relationship with Christ, that part didn't go away, just a response to people evolved and changed. So being a whole person, I think that the church for us, it did not clarify what whole meant.
Right.
Because we are real people, and that's where we were failed. How to be, and you said it perfectly, flesh. How to be flesh and blood. We knew how to be deacon and minister and sister and reverend doctor. Like I got all of that. I got the tithe report to show I know how to do that right there. I opened up Sunday service, but that at-home life, where those pieces came about at, where those little pieces. What do I do with this fragment of your heart? How do I conduct myself?
Right. That's right. With me, and what I look at is really, and both of you pretty much have said it, is really falling in love with Jesus. I mean, falling in love with Jesus. Falling in love with Jesus. I mean, that's the key. It's really the key. But the thing is both of you falling in love with Jesus, because if you really say that you love Jesus, I mean, then voila, Jesus is the center of your everything.
You better say it.
It's the center of everything. So Jesus is not going to war against himself.
That's right.
Right.
So whatever needs to be worked out, if it's still some weaknesses or whatever, then you know how to do this thing. Because what it is God allow things to fit like a puzzle. So when we counsel people or marriages or what have you, we try to find out, okay, what's the root cause of this thing? And like you said, there are some that do have, like the little boy, the little girl that's not being healed, and we go straight to the core of the thing. We deal with the root, the egg, and the seed. So but we deal from the spiritual, because the spiritual should override the flesh in order for things to run smooth.
Absolutely.
And see, it doesn't mean that you're not whole just because of your experiences.
Yes.
When you walk into the next thing, you got to say, okay, I'm still a whole person, but am I teachable? Am I pliable?
Oh, yes.
Am I able to learn more? See, you're adding to your wholeness. You're still whole.
Exactly.
Yes.
You're adding to it.
Yes.
So you're still whole unless you use that little fragment to make it a crutch.
Exactly.
That's right. That's right.
Because that crutch will always chisel away
Yes.
at what could be complete, at what could be a blessing or a testimony for somebody. So what they say is not what you go through, or it's not what happens, but how you respond to it. Where is that going to take you?
And sometimes the cycles repeat.
Right.
Especially if you haven't learned anything.
Right. Teach, Lord.
Yeah.
Dr. Unique, how can our viewers and our listeners, if they're looking for counseling, they're looking for guidance, they have questions, this is a phenomenal segment, and we can go on. Right. But if they need to get in touch or reach out to you ladies, how can they get in touch with you? How can they follow Iron Sharpens Iron?
They can follow Iron Sharpens Iron through WDRBmedia.com, or they can Facebook us, iHeartRadio, and tune in app.
I got it. So tune in to WDRB Media through the iHeartRadio app and listen for Iron Sharpens Iron. Is your Facebook page Iron Sharpens Iron also?
No.
Okay, we're going to get y'all all of that information.
Yes.
But family, I am again honored and blessed and thankful to have Miss Erma, Miss Michelle, Dr. Unique, and Miss Lisa in the house.
Yes.
It will never be the same again. Stay tuned, family. You're listening to the Profit and Growth Hour here on WDRB Media, the voice of the community.
Well, you know, we're getting there. I think it turned out. It's
That's it.
So we can set up an Iron Sharpens